Have you ever watched a classic film and thought, wait, was that bad?
Tossed Popcorn is a new movie review podcast for the common moviegoer from Stanford-educated idiots Liana Holston, that's me,
And me, Sienna Jekyll. Tossed Popcorn yanks the classics off their pedestal with blunt irreverence, genuine confusion, and witty banter. Tune in as we review a different film each week from AFI's 100 Greatest Movies list.
Kernels will fly as two tired women throw their hands up in exasperation and yell, "This won the Oscar?"
Listen and subscribe to Tossed Popcorn on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Here I am. Hey guys, it's Nikki Glaser. Welcome to the Nikki Glaser Podcast on this Wednesday afternoon, I guess, here in St. Louis. God, I've been up a while already today. Didn't go to bed last night. One of those days I had to get up super early. F-Boy Island is, they had me do this thing this morning where I had to put a green screen up. They sent me a green screen in this bag, Noah, that is I had to set up behind me, to shoot this thing that's they're trying to make F-Boy Island international, and go global with it. And so they're interviewing the stars from the show and trying to package it hey, bring this to Malaysia and Uruguay and, F-Boy is it's a pandemic. And there's no vaccine for F-Boys. Actually, there is. It's called Gardasil, and it prevents HPV related. HPV, actually. And then that, down the road leads to things. Can you get Gardasil after the fact that you already have HPV? Can you get... because, you can get the coronavirus vaccine if you've already had coronavirus, and then it can prevent different strains. So if I've tested, pause for, if I've had abnormal pap smears, which means that you have HPV, generally. I didn't know that until I went and got, I got a letter in the mail that was you have an abnormal smear. And I was well, smears, nothing sounds normal about a smear anyway. That's the nature of a smear. It's messy, and they were this one's messier than usual, and I had to go in and get a colposcopy where they biopsy, so painful. They say they numb you. They do not. And then I guess I had HPV, which I should maybe admit to that. But then I've never had an abnormal pap smear again. I've never had it tested for it again. I've definitely had a plantar's wart before. I'm begging to get a new one. But that's years ago, and so it's the thing is in my system, but it's not anywhere showing up where I don't want it to yet. You know what I'm saying? But if it does show up for you in some way, that also doesn't mean anything about you, other than you trusted someone you had sex with that didn't know that they had it or disclose to you that they had it, and that doesn't make you a bad person. Also, wait, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, Gardasil. I wonder if you can get the vaccine and then prevent against other types. I wonder if HPV is there's a Delta HPV. I know there's a Delta one in that sorority house. There's a strain that they modified all their own, those whores. JK, the Deltas, I don't know if they're whores. I mean, on some campuses, I'm sure those are the sluts. There's always that one sorority. And I say slut affectionately. No shame in that game. But, yeah, I had to do this F-Boy Island thing this morning. And they were taping it in London. So there's, however many hours ahead. 3 o'clock there. I had to do it at 9 a.m. Last night it was 12 o'clock. I saw this little green screen thing that they had sent in a box. I was I'll set it up in the morning. I just don't feel like dealing with this right now. I love to procrastinate on I love to push. I would rather wake up 2 hours early to get ready for something than... there were parts of me when I was young that was oh my gosh, I will wear my clothes to bed for school tomorrow because I hated so much getting ready in the morning. It was always so cold, and I would have to change by the heater. I don't know why I was living a life like Tiny Tim. I think back to changing by the heater and being it's so cold, and laying next to the heater when I was a child. We didn't grow up in the 1930s in, gangs of New York style, housing projects. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and people are living in those types of situations currently, but we had a nice house, but it was always fucking cold. Anyway, there were times where I was I'm just gonna get dressed before I go to bed, and I didn't have night sweats as a kid, so that would have actually panned out. But now, my hair gets all fucked up as I sleep. and I can't really trust it's going to look good in the morning. So I was like, oh, I'll just do it in the morning. But then I rolled around to 12 o'clock last night. I'm watching White Lotus by myself because Andrew goes to bed. He abandons me to go watch the same show I'm going to watch. And I'm like, because he likes to fall asleep to the show. I'm like, just watch it and then go walk into bed. You don't wash your face. You don't put on pajamas. You don't brush your teeth. You don't have to do anything to prepare for bed. Like, I understand if you're doing a bunch of skin regimens and then you get in bed and you want to watch your show after you do all of that because you have to prepare for bed. Andrew just has to walk to bed. I have 19 skincare and oral hygiene steps before I can, put a sleep mask on and put my white noise machine on. Andrew literally takes 9 steps to walk to bed and hurl himself into it and fall into a bed that isn't even made. He doesn't even need to peel back the sheets. They're already open to him. So for him to go in bed and be like, I just want to watch in there, I'm like, God, it's not fun watching things alone, especially when I can hear it 5 minutes ahead through the wall, because I stop and start a lot when I'm alone because I look at my phone. So I'm watching White Lotus last night, episode 2. I do like that show. I don't love it. I thought I would. I'm a big fan of Mike White, who is the creator. But listen, I like it as much as I should like it right now. I'd be really hurt if Mike White heard me say this. Not that he would ever, but let's say we meet each other down the road and he's like, we're friends, and he's like, oh, I wonder if Nikki ever talked about White Lotus on her podcast. And then he looks at it and I'm like mouthing off about how his show didn't meet my standards. And it does. It's very... Have you seen it yet, Noah? No. Okay, you need to check it out. I want you to watch it. It's really... There's parts of it that, my friend told me to watch it because she said it was dealing with a woman in a powerful position and her husband who felt emasculated by, making less money than her and like not feeling very masculine, and how he felt like kind of neutered. And I'm seeing that, and I'm interested in how that dynamic works out. Anya told me that at some point he like really becomes the hero for her, and men like to be the hero. And like, I'm really interested in when that's going to happen. We'll see. It will all... I just am so tired of TV shows that are presented like this is so a slice of life, like it's really what happens in life, and people behave just like they wouldn't. That's my problem with Mr. Corman. No one, if people talk to you like this in real life, you'd go, fuck you, and it would be the end of the scene. You just go, the world, you would Truman Show, you would go, what's happening right now? And I understand there has to be some sort of, you have to raise the stakes in a dramatic episodic thing, and these are actors, so they have to like play it bigger, but it's not high school theater. These people, in Curb Your Enthusiasm, when everyone that Larry David meets is an asshole and calls him out on stuff and is just like kind of not understanding and not empathetic, even that I go, God, is everyone in his world just the biggest asshole? And but the truth is, that's a comedy. That's a very like obvious, like these are very... It's supposed to be that exaggerated. White Lotus is supposed to be very, like, I think realistic. And to me, none of these people act like the way people would act. And if they did, I would think it's like Twilight Zone, the way people act. I just hate it. I'm just like, she would never say that. Those two girls they don't act like Friends would act. It bothers me. Anyway, but I guess all should be revealed because I was kind of bitching about it last night on my Instagram story. And people wrote, just hold on. It makes sense why those girls aren't like acting like real friends. I'm like, okay, got it, whatever. I was watching White Lotus 12:30 at night, and I had to get up at 7 o'clock for this 9 o'clock thing because I was going to, have to set up the green screen, and I got to blow dry my hair and take a shower and all this stuff. But then last night I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to get ready tonight and then sleep in a little bit. That's what I did. Spray tan myself. It is coming off all over this chair that my mom bought for our new studio. It's a light gray chair, and the chair is going to have an orange tint by the time we go live with video. It will have an orange hue to it, but so do I. And so that's okay. Everything I touch turns to orange. And, but I look so much better with a spray tan, and it's just undeniable. I mean, I was walking the dog today and caught a guy that was really hot outside Starbucks, checking old glazed dog out. And I was like, oh, it's because I put on spray tan. Like, I just look better. I just always look better. So I did my hair last night, which was just me scrunching it in the sink, doing the old, congealing, as I call it. Went to bed, wet head, woke up, hair looked fine, a little messy, but it's like beachy, and it's very F-boy. Set up the green, I wake up at 8:22, I have a 9 o'clock thing, I have to do all my makeup, go walk the dog, get Starbucks, eat some food, feed the dog, all these things before 9 o'clock, and look at my notes to remind myself of some topics I want to talk about for F-boy. And and set up the green screen. I open the box. This thing comes in like a circular zipper case, like the green screen, and then it folds out. On the instructions, it says, be careful when opening. Who reads instructions before they open something? Not me. I open it. It unfolds so quickly, like, one of those snakes coming out of a Pringles can. Hits me in the chin. I now have a bump on my chin, but it actually looks good. It looks like gives me a little bit more of a chin, like it's almost like I got injected in the chin. It reminds me of when I vibrated my head for my migraine, and it gave me Botox before I ever knew what that was. Like I saw like, oh my gosh, when your head looks frozen, it looks like kind of cool. So I got hit in the face by a green screen, did the interview. It was supposed to be 45 minutes. They asked for an hour. I go, sure. You know what? Let's do an hour. But I can't shut the fuck up, and I really want the show to sell in other markets. So I kept doing bits, and then I would say, you know what, actually I can deliver that better. There was one that I really liked that I did. I go, on the show F-Boy Island, we were talking about the women on the show and how, honestly, watching them every week, they would do these elimination ceremonies, and unlike the Bachelorette where they just either get a rose or don't, and then they just all hug goodbye, the girls would like tell the guys that were getting kicked off like why they're getting kicked off or why they're up for elimination. Like, you did this, this, and this, and it's not okay. Like, you have to be accountable. Why did you do that? I don't like when you talk to me that way. I don't like when you talk to that girl. Like, stuff that I'm so bad at confronting men about things issues in our relationship, because I am scared that they will go, well, that's just the way I am, and if you don't like it, then leave. Because that happened to me one time when I brought up something in a relationship. He goes, well, I'm not going to change, so I guess you have to break up with me because, that you said that you want to be with someone that does that, so, and I'm not going to, so bye. And I was just like, ugh. And so I just learned to never, ever say what you want, because people might just go, no, I can't give that to you. And then you go, oh, they don't love me. And I'm sure that comes from my childhood as well. But I told the woman that was interviewing me, I said, when I watch these girls week after week stand up to these guys, I would get nervous because I was so scared the guys were going to retaliate when they got criticized, especially these guys that are like so about their image and looking cool. And when a girl that they, and there's only 3 girls there, and there was kind of rumblings among them, or rumors that the guys were a little disappointed that they didn't know there weren't going to be, they thought it was going to be like tons of girls. They were all quarantining for 2 weeks, talking to each other on their balconies, going like, oh my God, this show is going to be awesome. They're so horny for, like, they thought it was going to be a fucking, orgy with as many women as there were men. They all knew that there were 24 guys at least. And so they thought they were going to be, so when there were only 3 girls, they were all kind of like, what the fuck? They were kind of disappointed. And then there were rumblings that the guys were like, there was like one guy that said like, these girls aren't even as hot as girls that I can pull back wherever. And I think it's because he said that because it was Garrett, I remember. And Garrett even said, I said that because I got rejected and I was like being defensive, like it wasn't true. They're all really hot they're gorgeous as you saw. But I was scared that one of those guys were going to say something like that to them. Like, well, you're not even that hot. I wouldn't even want to fuck you if it wasn't for this island or something like that. I was so scared they were going to say that to these girls, because guys say really mean things when they're rejected. We've all heard the story about the cat call where the guy's like, hey baby, what are you doing? And the girl goes, fuck you. And he goes, well, you're a fat, dumb cunt. And the girl's like, what? Because they didn't want to fuck you? You got mean? Like, and they say something really mean because they get hurt. So I was always scared these guys were going to get confronted and be like, fuck you, you're ugly or not hot or whatever. And I was like, you have small boobs. Whatever they were going to say to these girls, I was just terrified for them. But every time the guy would just go, you're totally right. And I mean, these guys were probably trying to stay on the show and knew that behavior wouldn't get them to. And maybe I was wrong. Maybe these guys would have that reaction. But I told this to my therapist, that my biggest fear is that men are going to say, when I reject them, they're going to say, well, you're ugly and I wouldn't want you anyway. The only reason I wanted you was because, you're famous or some other reason other than like I'm attractive. Like they'll be like, I was already taking a dive, like even wanting to fuck you in the first, like I always scared they're going to say something mean about my looks. She goes, that sounds like a 15-year-old boy. She goes, what happened? And I go, I don't even know what happened. I think maybe that happened to me and I blocked it out because I can't even think of a time that happened. But she goes, that's the fear of a 15-year-old girl, like dealing with 15-year-olds. And I go, well, I live with a 4-year-old. Like sometimes Andrew acts like a 4-year-old. That it's not beyond comprehension that I would date guys that sometimes act 15. But it's true. These are fears of a 15-year-old girl dealing with 15-year-old boys, because men do not sometimes progress, especially the men that I'm into, sometimes get really defensive and say ugly things. I mean, even I do. I slip back into my teenage, anger and like really mean insecure, cruel, jugular type things when I'm backed into a corner. So I said it to this girl. I go, these women actually inspired me. I was dating a guy during the show who was behaving like an F-boy, and I was putting up with it so much and just like accepting it because I was just happy to be had, and I didn't want to say anything because I was scared he was going to just be like, okay, fine, let's stop hooking up. And I really liked it. And so I said though, but it was becoming to the point where I was really starting to feel like I was just kind of taking abuse a little bit, or emotional abuse, and it was making me feel so sad. And I wanted to confront him, but I just wasn't brave enough to. But then when I said Nikia, CJ, and Sarah, week after week when I saw them, I was able to concoct a text to this guy and hold him accountable for behavior that I would have never done before. I saw these girls week after week doing it, and the guys actually answering to it and being these girls were brave to me, and I was like, I can do this too. So I did it. And I told the woman, I go, and you know what? That guy that used to give me the runaround, that wasn't able to commit to me, right now, look what I can show you. And I held up my left hand, and I pointed at my finger, and then I did the middle finger. I go, fuck you. We're not talking anymore. And I go, and guess what? We're not talking because he didn't want to talk to me. We're not talking because I didn't want to talk to him. And I said, if you don't change this, I'm out. And he didn't, so I was out. And but I liked the little switcheroo of the ring, but it's really hard to do a middle finger with your left hand. That's what I learned. Let's get Andrew in here. Why not? Andrew!
This past year has shown us that without your health, you have nothing. If you're not well, you can't work, look after yourself, or take care of your family. You can't enjoy the life you worked so hard to build. That's why you need to prioritize taking care of your long-term health today, before it goes from good to bad to worse. So invest in your long-term health with Forward. Forward is intelligent medicine with a personal touch. Their doctors are dedicated to catching top killers like cancer and heart disease early, before it's too late. And catching them early could save you tens of thousands of dollars in the long run. Everyone's health history is different, which is why Forward doctors personalize a health plan with you, based on your genetics, lifestyle, and biometrics, to achieve long-term results and ensure nothing gets missed. It's time to invest in a doctor that's invested in you. Go to GoForward.com today to protect your future health. That's GoForward.com. GoForward.com.
The stories that are affecting the Black community are being covered on the Black Information Network. Not a show or a podcast, BIN is a 24/7 news network covering stories from a Black perspective. Listen to the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app and get news for and by the Black community. Anywhere, anytime. Keeping you informed, keeping you engaged. The Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
I want to get back to being in my community group.
I want to continue having a soccer season.
So I can throw parties again.
So I can go to her parties.
It'd really be nice to dine in instead of getting delivery for a change.
So I can feel safe and protected for myself and my students.
We each have our own reason for why we're getting vaccinated against COVID-19. What will yours be? Visit getvaccineanswers.org for information on the COVID-19 vaccines. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Okay, audience, do you love trivia? Do you love the hit podcast, Stuff You Should Know? Then you'll love the new Trivial Pursuit game, Stuff You Should Know Edition. With 600 questions from the hugely popular Stuff You Should Know podcast, this game is packed with weird and unbelievable trivia inspired by topics on the show. You'll be challenged by brain-busting questions in 6 fascinating categories, including myths, legends, and conspiracies. And SYSK selects a mix of topics handpicked by podcast hosts Josh and Chuck. It's perfect for 3 to 6 players and adults from ages 16 to 116. If you love the Stuff You Should Know podcast, or you're just curious about the world, grab your copy of the Trivial Pursuit game, Stuff You Should Know Edition today, wherever you get your favorite board games.
Hey, Andrew.
Don't call me kid. Don't call me baby.
Yeah, I've been singing that song a lot.
Yeah, I love that line. I don't know what it is about those two lines.
It's Illicit Affairs by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we had a full-on concert with your dad.
Yeah.
It was
on
awesome.
Instagram Live.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
I filmed
fun.
you two, and I felt like you guys, it was a beautiful moment, and I know, if we were around a campfire, Like, that was a touching moment for a father and daughter, especially knowing that, like, you guys have had some issues with playing together in the past, you know? And it just, I don't know. It felt great. Or, I don't know.
I'm still, I just, I love my dad, and I just feel... I don't know. Like it was a lot better than our normal jam sessions, but he just struggles to be invested in me as like a guitar player and like trying to help me or facilitate me being better or encouraging me. There's just a block for him where he can't comment on it, and it's not because I go, Dad, I know, there's a lot of times where I just go, Dad, shut up, like I get it, Dad.
Yes.
But this is like I would like feedback from him, and
I do think he gave feedback yesterday. I think sometimes
I don't hear
because
it.
you don't get it, you don't hear it. You're blocked to hearing it.
He goes, you're getting good. But the thing is, that to me is just him placating because he knows that I've complained about him not.
But then how?
No. But let me just finish.
Sorry.
That's him just giving me something.
Yes.
And my dad, what I really want from him is actually feedback because he's a really good guitarist. I know that if he did stand up for a year, and he was a year in, and he showed progress that I've made because I watched videos when I started a year ago. I've made substantial progress, so I know it's happened. I feel, and I know that everyone isn't me, but I kind of was like, if anyone's as close to who I am, it's my dad. So like he's the only person that I can actually go, well, I would do this, so he should probably do that too, because I am my dad. Like we act the same way in almost every scenario. So for him to, I would say, wow, Dad, like this is really good. I like this. Your timing is good. Your like specifics about like
I see what
that
you're
joke
saying.
structure. Here's where I think you could really based on my experience a year in, because you're obsessed with this in the same way I was, like the exact same way, which I am as obsessed with guitar as my dad was when he first started. And he knows that. He could say, it really, what helped me a lot was just, it would skip me ahead if I would have learned this before then. Like, hey, put the mic stand behind you. Don't fidget with it. Like little things that he doesn't offer any suggestions to me.
Have you asked for like almost lessons where
he always says,
let's slow down, let's not play a song, let's actually pick apart my strumming?
He's not a teacher though. Like I guess I'm just asking for things that he can't give, but he always tries to teach me something that is so advanced that it's like he'll just start noodling around and showing me a thing, and it just becomes him doing something that I am years away from even being able to do or understand based on music theory. So all I want him to say is like he's just not good at empathizing and like understanding what position I'm in terms of being a beginner. And that's just, I said yesterday, my parents struggle with empathy. They cannot put themselves in my shoes, even though he was once in my shoes. And I certainly don't want to be in his, because you were calling them
those wood shoes.
You said the shoes were made of the same material that the floor was. And usually you shouldn't wear shoes in the house, but in his case, his shoes wore the house.
Yeah, he wore floors on his feet. Yeah, I was worried about him stepping on other shoes. They were like chia shoes. We were waiting for the grass to grow. Chia. Dude, I love those the Pet Rock. The Pet Rock might be my favorite.
Were you born in 1971? Why would you even...
I'm old enough for the Pet Rock.
Really? No, dude. No, the Pet Rock came out in like the 70s.
No, can we check this? I feel like the Pet Rock was like 1987.
Sorry, hon. That's not going to check out. That's it. I'm going to say the Pet Rock was 1974, 1977, but in no way was it 1987. You're off by a decade.
It was released in 1975.
Fuck my life.
Dude, I nailed it.
How did you know?
Because I know shit.
But I feel like it was around when I was a kid.
I mean, maybe it was still around.
Made it for 20 years.
I mean, it became like, it was the Tamagotchi of 1975. But Tamagotchis, are still around
What's
now.
Tamagotchi? I'm sorry, Gotchi.
Wait, you don't know what a Tamagotchi is?
No.
Just, honestly, it's a toy.
Okay, what does it do?
It's a little round toy. It would be on a keychain. It was digital. It was like kind of like a video game. Is this, we're doing any?
No.
You had to, it's a little ball that you had to take care of, a little digital thing that you would feed it and like bathe it.
What the hell?
Things you didn't have
well,
provided for you as a child.
That's probably why I didn't pay attention to it. I was a Tamagotchi that never got taken care of. I'm an Andrewgotchi.
I mean, it was like Sims, but it was so cute. Did you have Tamagotchis? Noah?
Yeah, I did. I used to love them.
I loved them so much. They were so cute. They were like this little ball it looks like the Zoloft cartoon. You know that cartoon that's like a little ball cartoon that like jumps around? on the commercials?
Yeah, I think I don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all. I do love the Pet Rock.
How did you miss? Are you a time traveler? Did
I might be.
Black out from 1987 to the Tamagotchi? Let me guess when that came out, Noah. I'm really good at placing dates.
I know every toy. The Tamagotchi.
I mean, I cannot believe you don't know the Tamagotchi. People are listening right now and they're floored.
I like the things you'd put in water and they expand. Those were pretty cool.
The little spongy things in the pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Okay,
those.
so Tamagotchi is 1990. God, I don't. You know what? I don't even remember. I'm gonna go 1996, 97. I'm gonna say Christmas
moly.
96 was like when Tamagotchis were like.
That's the year. It was released in
What the hell?
1996.
Dude, that's a Tamagotchi. Do you see it?
Oh, still, it looks like, is that the first iPod?
No, it's like a little circle that would be on a keychain. They had three three buttons.
I kind of remember now seeing the 3 buttons.
Dude, I want to play this game where I just guess dates of things. I'm really good with music, from since I was born until now.
I'm trying to think of other toys that I could get that you have to guess.
Yeah.
When was He-Man?
Oh, He-Man was 19. I'm gonna say 88 through 92 when it was like
I feel
really.
like earlier.
But I was 3 in 88 or 4.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of like toys that were.
You didn't have toys or something.
I didn't have many toys. I had a couple wrestling.
But for Christmas,
things.
wouldn't you be able, or for Hanukkah, weren't you able to ask for like things? And
Yeah,
then,
you get 8 presents. But we usually would only get 3 on the first night, and then Hanukkah.
But wouldn't
ended.
you get things that you asked for? Like, what would you ask for?
I'm trying to remember. I loved wrestling for a little while. I had all the different wrestling figures. I had Junkyard Dog, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan. I remember Hulk Hogan was in my mom's shower, and I was playing with her razor, like her razor blade, and I sliced myself.
Oh.
And I told my mom that Hulk Hogan did it because I thought that would. Me playing with Hulk Hogan scratched me.
Yes, Stretch Armstrong.
Scratch Armstrong.
Did you have Stretch Armstrong?
I don't think I did, but I would have been
love
jealous.
Stretch Armstrong so much. Teddy Ruxpin, Barbies, creepy crawlers, little mini bake oven,
Polly Pocket.
Polly Pocket.
What about the song?
My Littlest Pet Shop.
It's my kid. No. When I grow up, I want not be a Toys R Us.
Toys R Us kid. I mean, Toys R Us was
the
just,
shit. Oh my god!
I
You
mean,
get in a toy store.
Going in a toy aisle of like a Target or even a Value City when my mom would want to go shopping for cheap clothes. A TJ Maxx toy aisle's just
my buddy.
Dopamine. My buddy, wherever he goes, my
buddy.
Doodle
Kid
Bears.
Sister.
I said water baby. No one knew what water babies were.
What's water baby?
Those were little rubber, like hollow rubbered babies that had nothing in them, and you fill them with water, and they kind of like have the movements of a baby because it's filled with water. It's like a waterbed, but a baby, and they're rubber. They're really cute.
Some dolls scare the shit out of me. Like
yeah.
Chucky, like obviously, but like the porcelain dolls that some people would put around their house.
I never was really into dolls. I liked Barbies. I liked, I liked women.
Did you have one like raggedy doll that you had since a kid?
I always wanted
blankie?
something like that, and I never had a Velveteen Rabbit. I was never a little girl with like a toy that I would like take around and like chew on and like rub on my face, and it would make me comfortable. I would have really like probably benefited for some kind of weighted blanket or something to
You didn't
calm
have a
me.
blankie?
No, I had nothing like that. Did you?
There's some girls that go to college and bring their blankie.
I have one
kind
now.
of weird. Oh yeah.
I have a pillow that is like my if this place went up in flames, I would go get that pillow.
Over Luigi?
No, I mean obviously not. Yeah,
it's close.
Obviously not. I mean, did I not say not?
I love your kind-hearted answer, and then the joke like.
No, I would get Luigi, but I would definitely. I would
what
be
about
sad
me or the pillow?
You're on your own, buddy. I mean. The place is burning down because you left the oven on anyway. So
you told me to put the pizza box in it.
The pizza box. We'll get to that later in the show. The pizza incident that some of you definitely Pizzagate. Some of you saw in the story. What were we talking about before that? We were talking about Tamagotchis. And then before that, it was the Pet Rock. Chia, my dad. The dad thing. Can I just say, and my dad's not going to hear this, but I love him so much, and it was really good to see him yesterday. I hadn't seen him in so long. I just, I struggle with when he, I only know so many songs. He could play anything.
Yeah.
And for him to not find a song that we can both play that is easy, and I'm the one that has to pick out a song, it doesn't make sense to me. Where he's like, well, or he's the one that he doesn't let me pick a song. He's the one that picks a song, and then he never picks, and then he just starts playing, and I have to just guess. Now I'm good enough that I can watch him and just play along. But initially, I'd be like, "Will you just give me the chord progression?" He'd go, "It's just watch. I'm just gonna play it." And then he starts going up the neck and doing bar chords. And I'm like, I don't know bar chords. And
what was cool is when you were playing regular bar chords or regular chords, he started soloing off your stuff.
That's what I want him to do.
I think it's fun for him. I think he might get bored.
He doesn't like that.
Huh?
He doesn't do it because that's what I always want to do and he doesn't like Taylor Swift songs because he says they're all too fast. But the reason I sing them fast is because he hates them and wants me to get through them.
It's like when I tell you a story.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, but I don't get to, freestyle during it. I do want to swim freestyle away from you telling me that you're crying because we're in the ocean and the sunset made you think of your
mom. With your floaty tits.
Yeah, with my... I mean, that's a reference to a joke. You just sound like a joke I made that the audience doesn't know, though.
Maybe they do.
No, they don't.
If they saw you in Monterey.
I mean, that's the tiniest percentage of our fans.
Can we talk about how we swam a race in swimming and I toasted your ass?
Yeah, you did toast my ass.
I don't know if I toasted you in the butterfly though. I think you did.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Freestyle I was never that good at. That makes sense to me that you toasted me. I don't have a problem with that. We went golfing, or Andrew went golfing last night, and I went on a run. And
I love that you came. I know it wasn't really for me, but it felt good.
And hung out with him while he golfed. That is where all single men are. It's so funny. I posted about it on my Instagram story. Jamie from F-Boy, Jamie Nice Guy.
Okay.
He wrote to me and was like, he said something about like, yeah, those guys are there, but like they're probably. He said something about alluding to the fact that they are men that are like probably just like filling their lives with that instead of other things, because you're addicted to golf.
Yeah.
In a way that, I mean,
it's unhealthy.
Yeah, like you're doing that instead of something else,
sure.
Maybe. And I looked at all these men, and they're all like good-looking men that are just there at the driving range at 9:00 at night. But to me, I wasn't like, damn, maybe I can pick up a guy here. I'm like, I wanted to scream, go to therapy!
That is our therapy.
Run off. Stop it.
You hit some balls. It's meditative.
I know it's great for your mental health to do something active that you love for sure. But I guarantee you, nary one of those 20 men swinging their aggression towards their fathers away go to therapy. They were all there. Golf was created for men to avoid their lives.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get that. I use pot and guitar and Reddit and stuff like that to skip mine. But at first I was like, oh my God, I should come here and like go with Andrew more often and meet a guy. But I don't want a guy that goes to the driving range.
Yeah, it's kind of like a real life video game.
Or the gym.
You know what I mean? Like people that are addicted to video games and they'll play for hours.
Yeah.
I mean, golf.
Those guys were focused.
Golf golf is a beautiful sport, man. I appreciate it more and more the older I get, because I really can't play other sports because then I tear my hamstring. Mm-hmm. Golf you could play until you're 100. My grandpa started playing golf at 70.
Yeah.
And won his club championship, B division. Got to throw that out. Sorry, Grandpa.
No, you definitely can
at
play
74.
in an elderly league. What did my dad say?
The senior tour.
Yeah, the senior tour.
No, I'm not. I will never be that good. But
you could. Why not?
My Grandpa Henry used to fart.
Do you really not think you could play in the senior tour?
I mean, it starts at 50, so I'd have 9 years to get.
I mean, you could play if you played 4 hours a day for 365 days times 9. I think that would be 10,000 hours, and then you could be an expert.
Potentially, my grandpa used to fart during my backswing, and claim that it wasn't on purpose. It was unbelievable, like on command. And then he died of like
you can get 13,000 hours in 9 years, and that's playing 4 hours a day.
Well, I'm not gonna play 4 hours a day.
So
do 2 hours. Do 2 hours.
So
4 times.
Well, all you need is 10,000 hours, and you've probably already done about 1,200. So you only need about 8,000 probably to complete this.
So check in 9 years if I'm
divided by 4, 2,000, and then divide that by 365. You could in 5 years playing 4 hours a day, you could get 10,000 hours.
And for 7 days a week, that's too many.
I know. So, but that means if you add up to 10 years, you could definitely get that in.
Look, I'm not ruling it out, but that's not my focus because that's a goal that's so unlofty, like a golf club, like a 4-iron.
Like that's a goal that's so unlofty?
Yeah.
No, it's lofty.
Yes.
It's not unlofty. Would be
a pitching wedge.
Okay. Well, all I have to say is, I honestly would not do anything if I didn't think I could be on the senior tour of it.
Why?
Because I want to be the best at things, or at least in the top of everything that I do. I mean, I run, but I know I'm never going to be the best at that. That to me is meditative, but I'm not obsessed with it like you are. Like, I do it 3 times a week.
You're only playing guitar to be the best singer-songwriter ever?
Not the best, but the best that I can be, and which I do believe I could be. I could be as good as senior tour level of golf at that level. Like 100%, I could be that good.
Here's the thing: the senior tour guys, most of them have been playing. At my age, they were already playing. They already have 40,000 hours, so I'm catching up. That's all I'm saying.
But what I'm saying, those people have wives and kids, and you don't have that shit, and you can actually get in more hours than them. That's why I feel like I was getting on the plane the other day, walking on the tarmac or the gate, the hallway, and these 2 old guys were behind me, 2 senior tours, and they saw my guitar, and the guy goes, "Oh, is that a big viola or a tiny guitar?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a guitar," and he's like. I'm not good. I just started playing a year ago, and I'm obsessed with it. So I bring it with me everywhere. And I go, "Do you play?" And he's like, "No, God, I wish." He goes, "Stay with it, because when you get older, you can't do it." And I go, "I am older, and I started a year ago." And he goes, "No, stay. You can do this." He goes, "I gave up because I started the piano at 28, and I go, I'm too old for this." And I go, "I'm 37, and I'm so happy that you assumed I was probably in 20s based on." It was the first time I did have a mask on.
Yeah.
And then when I have a mask on, people tell me I look like Jennifer Lawrence. So things are good when I have a mask on. No one's ever told me I look young for my age. Never. Not one time has anyone said, and I hear it said to every other woman in the world. No,
you've never heard that.
The only time was DeMarcus Ware on Dancing with the Stars, where he said, "You're 35? What? I could have I swear to God, when I met you, I thought you were 33.
Can I say something?
That's the only time it's happened, and that's 2 years. That was a joke to me.
You have a very strong appearance where how do I put this? Where
I really think we should get to the news before you go any deeper here. But I've never been told I look young, and I don't want the besties to slide in and say I look young because I know I don't. I don't
think you age. I think you kind of stay exactly at the same age.
I looked 37 when I was 18.
Well, then you just stayed 37.
I mean, look at this picture of me.
A lot of us look older when we were
Look at this picture of me when I was 18. I look honestly the same, and I have to say I'm pretty proud of it. But I look 37 in this.
That's my point. You don't age past a certain number.
Look at this picture. Doesn't that look like me now, pretty much?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my point.
All right, good.
Does that make sense?
Settles it. Yes. I hope I stay this way forever. I always look 37. 37 is a great age to look.
It's a great age.
I'll go up to 44. You know what? And then I want to stop. Let's get to the news.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
I hope you're having a great time out there. We know we love Tuesdays, and today's Tuesday. Get yourself a taco. Get yourself a tambourine. Have all the swells out there. Okay.
Who do I tell him it's not Tuesday? Do you what do we do here?
Oh shit.
Fucking Jeff Saturday over here.
It's Jeff Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Jeff Wednesday. It's Wednesday, Andrew. You're going tomorrow to see Brenna. You just wrote a tweet about it or an Instagram post about it. I mean, I don't even. Let's get to the news. It's Wednesday. Hope you're having all the swells.
That was
Tuesdays.
Unlofty, boy. Oh God. Okay.
Luigi is falling asleep on your lap. It's so cute.
When asked about hosting Bachelor in Paradise and being a comedian in the age of cancel culture, David Spade responds, "It's very dicey. It's very tricky." So David was interviewed recently and asked him about Bachelor in Paradise.
God, I'm so sick of hearing about David Spade. I'm just kidding. That's all I want to talk about.
I was like, wow, she flipped.
No, okay, so what did he say? He said, yeah, I know, I've heard him say this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, essentially. But do you think you watched him on Bachelor in Paradise?
Oh, yeah, he was great. He was so funny on this. It was kind of, they showed more comedy from him than they allowed for me on F-Boy. They didn't let me go on any, real long of any of my bits. They cut him down. But for him, they let some stuff really go. It's so fun.
What?
He does this bit about crabs at the end of the first episode,
during the credits,
about his room having crabs in it. He's like, And he worked it out with me in a voice memo, I think, because he was telling me about his accommodations. He goes, I don't want to say that dump. Who said dump? It's a strong word that they put me up in a dump. But yeah, there's like crabs all over my room. My room has 6 crabs in it at all times. He goes, there's nowhere they're not. He was like, you open a cabinet and there's a crab just like eating a Triscuit. Like, you want some of this? There's like, he was saying, he goes, they're not like Sebastian, like Little Mermaid crabs that have like a good personality. These crabs, they're walking sideways. They're shifty. Like, he hates his rants about crabs are so funny. They really.
He just has crabs in his room?
Yeah. And this, when they were in Mexico, they were just like, yeah, it's crab season. They're like, he's like, well, get them out. And he like complains to the guy.
Season.
And the guy goes, oh, I'll go get I'll bring you a crab broom. They have a crab broom at the resort.
What does a crab broom entail compared to a regular broom?
I'm guessing it's just a broom that pushes the crabs out. And I really hope these crabs aren't injured with the broom. I think they probably are. But yeah, cancel culture, he was saying it's tricky.
Yeah, he says, he goes, you used to have to say anything to go as far as you could to push the envelope to get attention.
Yeah.
And people would be like, I like this guy, he's pushing it. But now you say one wrong move and you're canceled. It's a very tough world out there. I think all comedians have gotten together in a way to say we just have to keep doing what we're doing, and people that come to shows will appreciate it. But you get an outsider that comes in and goes, I was so offended. The intent is not to be mean. If the intent is to do it as a joke or a spin or something, and it is mean to people, but you're just making fun of that, I don't think that's horrible.
Yeah, if you're on stage and you do a joke about rape and it's like making the victim out to be the one that we're like, ha ha, then like, come on, that's mean. But talking about the subject of something and people going, ooh, it's just like, shut up. I make one joke about like my hotel being having a scale in it and a magnifying mirror, and I'm like, it's like makes me want to jump out the window. I'm like, I got the suicide suite. I was like, is this the Bourdain bungalow? And people go, oh, and I'm like, he killed himself. Do you guys not know that? I hate that. Did I say something wrong? Is that because he did kill himself in a hotel room? Is that my fault? Or am I making light of his death? No, I'm just acknowledging that he took his life there.
He was also in a bungalow. Who doesn't want to die in a bungalow?
No, he was actually in like a nice hotel in France, in like this France.
I mean, the ironic part is Spade has this job because Chris Harrison got canceled and he's not a comedian over one line defending that girl.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all kind of crazy.
I was really upset by someone's cancellation recently. Who was it? Someone got the Jeopardy host on his podcast 10 years ago. The guy that made himself the host of Jeopardy is a producer on Jeopardy, Mike Richards.
Oh, that's how it happened?
He got canceled because his host on the show, like his Andrew Collin, like this girl that's like a buddy of his, they were joking about her working like some kind of convention in a booth, and he called her like, oh, you're one of those booth sluts, like booth whores, and he got canceled for that. And she was joking with it.
So someone did. Someone went through his podcast 10 years. I mean, that person should be canceled. The person that goes, I'm going to find something you said wrong 10 years ago.
That person has date raped before, and probably worse. Like, the person that goes to those lengths is a terrible anyone who's one of these people that's like these gotcha guys that goes out and like roots around, they're bad people too. They've done heinous things, and that's why anyone who's super loud about you did this, like you shouldn't do that, they either think thoughts that are so awful that they have to like, that's why they hate people that think the same thoughts and want to call them out, because then it deflects that's whenever I get mad at you about something, it's because it's something that I hate about myself. And so
maybe their dad Bourdained themselves in a booth,
That was, that was a callback to something that everyone would get, but I would rather you call back to something that we did at a show for 4 people.
Bourdain at a show?
I mean, Luigi's face right now, I wish you could see it, is how I feel about that joke.
Wow, I thought it was pretty
good.
Eyes
are rolling in the back of his head, and his eyes are squinting like he's about to fall asleep, but they're also rolling.
It was B&B,
right?
I'm
going to take a picture of Luigi's face right now so you can see how
like it was like
horrified
Bourdain
he is.
Booth, Bourdain bungalow.
It was a nice try, and I say that as a liar. Okay, next story.
Booth.
Yeah, I wish what's his name, John Wilkes Booth, would come in here and put that joke out of its misery. I'll be here like Mary Todd, like he's right here.
You can freaking point me out?
Yeah.
That is rude, dude.
Even though I love this play that we're watching and I want to see how it ends, I would rather see how you end.
You don't like the play. You would have left during intermission.
I know. I really don't care for Blaze. I'm so bored at Blaze. Next story.
A man goes viral after he posts why he was ghosted by his date. Gay man, by the way. The message from the man he went on the date with said, "Hey man, sorry for not messaging until now. I enjoyed our date last week, but when you said the phrase, 'put my thinking cap on,' it kind of gave me the ick. So I wasn't really interested in pursuing things. Also, do you know any like soul, funk, hip-hop, disco kind of vibes DJs in Manchester?"
Wait, so then he asked for music recommendations after saying, like, I didn't like...
Yeah, you saying...
Tell me again what he said. What was the...
He said, "Put my thinking cap on." It turned him off. I mean, I'm sure a phrase...
Maybe he doesn't like condoms. Is that a euphemism for a condom?
I wish you didn't say that joke.
Really?
No, we can't do this to each other because we'll both they'll just be dry hair forever. No,
yeah,
I agree.
There are some times that someone says something like really nerdy, and I'm like, ugh. But there's no way I would ever tell the person that, and I would be embarrassed that would be a thing that would make me turn off by someone. So I wouldn't tell them. Luigi is falling asleep in your lap. It's so funny. Have you ever fallen asleep in class and you just like your head like doing that? He's looking at me like I'm a teacher. Like I'm trying to. I have to film this, you guys. I'm so sorry. It's so
I hope
cute.
people at home aren't falling asleep like
I know.
like Luigi.
It's just worth it. Okay, so what I think is that, yes, I might be also irritated, but a thinking cap wouldn't bother me, though. Can you think of anything that anyone's ever said that has made you go, ugh? Noah, what about you?
When I first wrote Brenna back, I sent back an emoji or two emojis, and it almost killed it for me.
Right.
She was like... okay.
What emojis did you send?
I don't know. I'd have to look through.
Yeah, but she was just like, "What are these?"
Just write something original. What are you doing?
25 and you're 41, so it maybe showed your age. And it was the pet rock emoji.
It was a pet rock and a Tamagotchi. The what was I going to say? Oh, someone said they should have responded to that question. Let me put my thinking cap on about the DJs. Like throw it back at the guy.
Oh, that would be funny.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, this guy is in the right to call this guy out
publicly.
Yeah, that's a dumb reason to give for why you're not feeling someone, and I don't know. It makes me so scared that I'm gonna, like when I go on dates sometimes. Like I worry that it's gonna be one thing I say.
Yeah.
But you
say.
If there's one thing that I say, they don't. The other night I was like going on this thing and I was meeting someone and I go. I was talking to Noah, like, is there any advice you can give me based on, the Getting to I Do book? Like, stay in this feminine energy, whatever it is. And then I was like, I don't even know if I like this person yet. I feel like this book is more for, like, when you do like someone and you're like, I want this person. I want to, like, focus in and I want to be in a committed relationship. I'm ready for that with this person. And I go, I don't even know if I like this person. I'm just going to be me. And me was telling this guy that I've read a book called Getting to I Do and that I don't know if I'm a masculine or feminine energy woman.
I love that, by the way. I love the honesty and the openness.
I go, my friends are going to laugh so hard when I tell, like, you're not only are you never supposed to disclose that you've read this book to the person that you catch through using it, but you are not ever, like, you're just never supposed to reveal anything about it, let alone give the person the title and say that I've picked up a book called this. I mean, it's just, and I told the guy, because I love asking guys, and this guy is someone that I was like, I was feeling it out. I didn't even know if I liked him or not, but I like this question of like, what's the number one problem in a relationship that you've had? Like if I asked your ex-girlfriends, what would they say is your biggest flaw in a relationship? Like what leads to conflict that you bring to the table, And I'm not gonna say what he said, but I'll say what I said was I think I can be, and I shouldn't have said this. This was a moment where I go, I don't even know if I like this person or not. Still don't. But I go, I think I just shot myself in the foot, whether or not, because I go, I think that guys think I'm clingy, and he was just like, and I go, and the truth is, when I like someone, I like to touch them a lot, and I like to spend a lot of time together, and I think I get pegged as clingy not because I have someone who's I like my space and I like to be like that's an app or that's a website you're still on, you and your pet rock. You like MySpace too, right? So Friendster. So I said I get clingy, and you can see this guy's like horror in his face, kind of just like, what do you mean by that? And I was just like, honestly, it's because any guy that would say that didn't like me. And if you like me, you're going to love the fact that I want to fuck you a lot and like hang out with you. But if you don't, and if you're scared of commitment, I mean, I've described guys that I didn't like that really liked me as clingy when really that would have been a perfect amount of affection for a guy I liked. So I think you get labeled clingy if you're pursuing someone who doesn't actually like you. Whereas if the person liked you, they wouldn't call that clingy.
It's not clingy. It's just Because
I'm not someone who's like, because he goes, are you like, do you need to check in? You need to know where they are? And I'm like, no, I've never been that way. Like I literally am the least jealous person in a relationship that I've ever known, and I'm flawed in many ways, but in terms of jealousy, I think people think clingy is jealousy and like, where are you? Tell me you love me. I need to check in. And I don't think I'm that. I'm just like, I want to just like snuggle sometimes, and then I want you to get the fuck away from me when I want you to as well. So I don't know.
What by doing that, by telling them about the book, by being honest about being clingy, what is your takeaway from that? Because this guy still wants to hang out with you. Is there a level, like a revelation in the sense of, oh, maybe it's not right to
I didn't
block
tell you
some
that
things.
I didn't do the book. I didn't say that I didn't do the book. I just told him about the book. But I didn't say that I wasn't still using things from the book that would have defied the way I would behave before. But actually aren't
so it was a hybrid.
It's not contrary to how I would actually. The book essentially, you can look at it as like, oh, you're tricking a guy, you're doing things opposite of how you normally would do things. But there are a lot of things in life, not just about getting men, that are not giving you the results you want.
Yeah.
Like I just saw this guy on Instagram. Like if you were working out and someone and you read a book that was like, here's how to have bigger muscles, would you think that's like, just be yourself and just do the curls that you know? You're not being yourself, man. You're reading a book to learn how to do it. It's like, yeah, because this is actually going to give me the results I want, as opposed to the things I've been doing, which I'm not an expert in human behavior. And so it's based on getting what you really want in life. And I just saw this tweet. What?
But my only question is this, is that OnlyFans, which is meant the next story actually, do you think that it's your actions, like what you would learn from the book, or who you're choosing? I mean, I think a lot of it is like you're saying like, oh, I'm not getting what I want, but is it so much your actions, or it's the person that you're deciding to be with?
No, I think it's a mixture of both. I think that the book doesn't work on someone who isn't gonna be the right person for you, is the thing. If someone can't give you a commitment and you want one with them, this book isn't going to trick them into doing that. What this book gives you is someone that is able to give you what you want. It facilitates that quicker than the way you've been going about it.
Okay.
So like, I don't even have to think about like, oh, I should answer it this way and phrase it this way. It's like, it comes kind of natural to me because I'm like, oh, I don't want to open this door. I actually want him to order. I really want him to go get the waitress and say that we want dessert. I don't really want to get up and do that. Whereas before I would be like, I'll just do it real quick because I like things moving fast. It's just like, oh, it's kind of nice letting someone else do it and just being more receiving when really, because I like things done so fast that being slower, it's like actually giving me what I want, which is like just calmness. And then that way it's not as frantic, which is more my masculine energy. And it's exhausting to be that way constantly. Next story.
OnlyFans, Oni, has backed down from its plans to ban explicit content after being blasted by creators and members. I have a theory.
I also know why they did it. I found out it's not because
the kid stuff.
Yeah, it was about possible child porn and people not wanting to be associated with that. Yes.
I think it would be brilliant if their marketing team knew that by doing this, it would be all over the papers for free. And they get free marketing, and then they back off from it. And it only brings more eyes to the website.
You're not. You were also someone who thought Lady Gaga's dog walker set up
I wasn't way off.
Attack. And you always have these conspiracy theories of like, I think that guy's brother died because he wanted to post about his brother dying and get some likes for it.
Sure.
I think he killed his brother instead of he had died of an opioid addiction. Like you always like think the worst things of people, but I mean that's actually kind of a good conspiracy theory. I kind of support it. I think it's a long way to go about things, and I think honestly it is so risky. And companies, especially tech companies, are so risk adverse. Just based on like what I know from TV and like these multimedia companies that have so much money and so much wealth and so many investors, they never take any risks. That's why you see nothing interesting on TV or in music or it's all there's so little things that actually are unique, and when they are, and you're like, Billie Eilish, it's so different. She's in her bedroom with her brother and she sings like a baby. It's like all of that was precedented. Like she was popular before people invested in her. No one takes risks, so that to me seems like a huge risk that maybe they could have predicted would work out, but I don't know.
I mean, and on record, I don't want anyone to die for someone to get likes.
No, I didn't say you wanted someone to die. You said I was just presenting an outlandish scenario where you kind of go, I think this guy's kind of happy his brother died because he's getting less likes. You didn't say that. You just go, it's interesting. Like, he seems to be benefiting from it. And I'm like, I think he's mourning and trying to share his feelings because he doesn't usually do that. And social media is a good way to
I think he's turning a negative into a positive. That's all.
No, but you were being suspicious and kind of like, ugh, this guy using this. We got to go to break. Let's get back into it when we come back with Why Do I Care?
At iHeartRadio, we bring you the best podcasts, from The Ron Burgundy Show to The Breakfast Club to Stuff You Should Know. Really, all of today's biggest names. But each of these shows started with an idea, and now we want yours. We're looking to you for the next great podcast. Simply go to nextgreatpodcast.com to get the details and submit your pitch. We'll select up to 10 semifinalists and give them $1,000 to produce a pilot. Then, listeners from across the world will vote on their favorite to decide the next great podcast. Enter today at nextgreatpodcast.com. That's nextgreatpodcast.com. Why shouldn't the next great podcast come from you?
For decades, this area has been a hotbed for paranormal sightings.
This is a strange place, this part of the country.
Ed, where are you?
Something about it just doesn't feel right.
Dad? Strange things were happening back then, and strange things are happening again now.
I think I found something.
This otherworldly corner of southeastern Massachusetts, the Bridgewater Triangle.
iHeartRadio and Grim and Mild presents Bridgewater, starring Misha Collins, Melissa Ponzio, and Nathan Fillion. Created by Aaron Mankey and written by Lauren Shippen. Listen to Bridgewater now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and learn more at grimandmild.com/Bridgewater.
I'm Robert Evans, and does it seem like everything's kind of falling apart? That's because it is. First off, climate change is hitting a lot harder than our most optimistic predictions had anticipated, and that's leading to infrastructure falling apart. It's leading to food and everything becoming more expensive. It's just going to cause a lot of continued problems, and weird problems, like, remember when toilet paper wasn't available? That kind of weird. It's going to keep happening, and we're also going to continue our lurch into authoritarianism, and that can be kind of scary. But the good news is that when things start to fall apart, we all have an opportunity to replace them with something better, to build a new world from the ashes of the old. On my new show, It Could Happen Here, Monday through Friday, we'll chronicle the collapse, yes, but we're also going to talk to visionaries and thinkers who have ideas about what could replace it, and who are going out there in the world right now to try to build something better. So, listen to It Could Happen Here on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, Andrew, why do I care?
I have no idea.
Why do I care?
I mean, I don't know if you're going to care about this one. You ready?
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani's ex-husband, Gavin Rossdale.
What did she do? Gavin Rossdale is dating a 20-something-year-old. I saw this on Demois.
Do you know her name?
No. Oh, it's Gwen. That's right. It's Gwen.
You said you didn't have a problem dating a guy who dated a girl that looked like you.
Oh, I would love it. I'd go,
what about
yep.
Same name?
Don't mind. Ironically enough, Pete Lee texted me last night and says, I'm dating a girl, her name is Nikki. And I go, it kind of irritated me only because I'm like, I wanted to be the only Nikki in your life. But, yeah, I guess I got kind of a little bit more jealous than I would have if she just looked like me. And turns out she's even better looking than me. She looks 36. And no, I actually was. I liked it. Nikki, I love that because I knew that he probably one of the first things they probably talked about was me because he was probably like one of my best friends is named Nikki, and so I was like, oh, I bet their courtship involved a story of me, and maybe she Googled me and was like, God, this guy has dated a pretty hot girl that made his currency go up. Because you said that to me recently, where you said that I probably helped someone stock a little bit because their girlfriend knows that I have gone for them before, and she probably likes him more because we had dated.
Yes, I think that definitely could happen.
That makes me feel good. Gwen, I mean, she dates Blake Shelton, who is a musician, who is kind of like and I'm sure he has a Bush.
Bush beer?
I mean, Gavin is from Bush, the band, and
Glycerine. I bet he uses glycerine in that bedroom, boy.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Gwen Singer's 26. She's like an Instagram thought model. Like, I mean, it is what it is.
I bet they met on Raya. I haven't seen him on Raya, but I bet they met on
Instagram.
Maybe Instagram. God damn, he's so cute. He reminds me of Billy Crudup, who is my number one.
Oh yeah, it's that long, like curly hair that. It seems like he ages around his hairline. Like his hairline stays strong.
Oh, really? I haven't seen his hairline in a while, but good for him. And Gwen Stefani looks like she's 26. And I wonder if the girl talks like this.
She was so cool. I guess she's still
so cool.
She's still.
I mean, she's still. There's a little, and I'm not someone who likes to mouth off about celebrities, but there's a part of me that resents how young she looks and stays looking. And it looks exhausting to me, is all I'm going to say. There's sometimes I look at J-Lo and these girls that just stay young, and I know how much work it takes. And I just go, Gwen, I'll like you if you gain weight and if you have hair, if I see your roots, and if you don't have fake eyelash. Like, we'll still like you. You're still talented. And maybe I'm just talking to myself. Let's get to Slice of Life. It's our special segment today, Wednesday. It's where we take a moment from our life, a recording, a video that happens, when we don't know we're on camera, or, we just take it outside of the studio and we dissect it and talk about it. Today's Slice of Life is a video I captured the other day while Andrew was taking a pizza out of our oven. And he did not know I was filming him. But I started filming him about a minute and a half after he had already been struggling to get this pizza out. If you haven't seen it, he did post it on his Instagram, on his main post, Andrew T. Collin, on there. You can watch it. The feedback I got from this was incredible, and I do want to go through some of the comments that people wrote in, but let's go ahead and listen to what happened, and I will narrate. You can also chime in. So he's trying to get... You can pull out the rack maybe and make it easier. He's trying to get the pizza out of the oven on the top rack with a plastic spatula, and he has a plate in his left hand, and he's putting the spatula in. He's refusing to pull out the rack like I suggested, but that's okay. He is now attacking it from the right side and kind of moving it. Oh, it seems to be working. It's shifting out. It's moving off the rack. It's now it's being pushed further back. He seems to be making progress. Okay, it's moved about a half an inch forward. Now he is putting the spatula underneath it, still not pulling out the rack or attempting to do so. Now the pizza has now slipped. Oh, the video isn't shot right, but he's looking for a holder. So what happens to the pizza is that it falls between two of the racks, like two of the little bars on the rack, and then half of the pizza just is completely vertical, going down and slipping and dripping into the pizza oven. And he's looking for a pot holder or something to pull out the rack. And I said, sometimes I think boys are so scared of things that they don't need to be scared of, like burning their hand on a rack. You can just use a paper towel, kind of. Like, it wouldn't burn you. And I think that guys just don't understand that. They are so cautious. It's so funny because men are so daredevils, sporty, strong, calloused hands, but they can't. They're so scared of a rack, and they need to find an oven mitt instead of just using a paper towel to gently pull out a rack. You could just ball it up. You could just do two. Ball it in a way that it was just crumpled. You could use it like an old napkin, and you refuse to pull out the rack. It slipped into the thing, and then.
Well, I used to have a joke only about 4 years ago where I've never used an oven in my life.
Right.
I thought about how an oven compared to a microwave, it's it just shows a sign of you have to be an adult now, it's time to have a family.
Yeah.
But
That's
I never
what I
really
said about rolling joints. I'm like, why would I roll a joint
when
instead of putting it in a pipe? I go, it's like microwaving versus a joint is like an oven, and it's just it's the same shit.
Yeah, same shit.
I agree.
Well, I mean, some people would say bagel bites, do you oven or do you microwave? Some would just say you got a toaster oven because then it's not as crispy, then it's too chewy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways.
There's something that makes you feel like you're Jata De Laurentiis when you just put a frozen pizza in an oven, or like anything that could be microwaved in an oven. Like I feel like I'm suddenly Emerald.
I think
Lagasse.
yeah. It's like you got.
But
I feel like I get frustrated because like I must have eaten probably 12 pizzas in the last 3 month.
Days,
yeah, 3 hours, and I've taken it out of there the same exact way.
Yeah.
It's so annoying when you do something on your own thousands of times, and then when you have one audience member or 10 audience, and then it just doesn't go the right way.
Yeah.
And it was just very frustrating, and I was I got it.
I would almost argue. I know when you I got it. I just want to play the I got it again because you can hear. I should have seen the anger that would proceed this video coming with this I got it. And I just want to ask if the way I say pull the rack out is what you would. Can you say the word?
What's that?
Naggy. Is it naggy? And I really want to know because I promise you I'm trying not to be a nag, and I was observing this for a while and thinking about how I want the tone of my voice to come across. Because first of all, I was filming, so I knew I'd be accountable to it, and also I know that Andrew doesn't want me to be. I didn't want to be like pull the rack out, dummy, which is what I wanted to say, because it was so frustrating to watch. Or like that's my initial. That's like in the back. That's a little devil on my shoulder, right? So I just want to know if my tone was naggy. And then listen to his I got it. You can like pull up the rack maybe and make it easier.
Oh, my I'll get it wasn't that bad.
I sense so much hatred in it. I thought if that was like the ocean coming out like before tsunami, and everyone goes, "Oh my God, look at it! It's so fun. We can go play out in the sea." And then that's what I did. I go, "Oh my God, this is gonna be so fun!" And then when you at the end when you catch me filming you and you go, "Fuck you!" That's when it was like that was when I saw the wave and I should have started running. I also shouldn't have been out in the surf poking around.
Well, yes, and the tsunami started
on the golf course.
Well, the earthquake started way before that.
Yeah.
And it was like rumbling through the ocean.
Yes.
Before that,
the Richter scale had noticed a couple. Little.
I know it's not fun to be called a nagging person, but
there's no other word for it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the
what's a man when he's a nag? Like, what do people say? You're such a boss. Thank you, sir. I'll do whatever you say. What is it
you're
called?
such a Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, you're such a earner. Can I blow you more? What is it called? I don't know, but
you're a winner.
There's all you want as a woman is not to be a nag, not to be a whore, not to be a tease. Those are my 3 things that I don't want to be more than anything in the world. I'd rather be a bitch, a cunt. Like my mom her trigger word is bitch.
Yeah.
You can't even call her a B, which I amended it to because I used to realize if you said bitch, she would fly off. And so sometimes I would go for the jugular, as my dad said, and call her a bitch when I was really mad, and my mom cannot handle it. I can handle bitch and cunt. I can't handle. And now I can handle nag, but
I felt like when I said nagger yesterday or a couple days ago, it triggered you. Like that's like a word.
That wasn't it.
Oh well.
I mean, it sounded like the N word, so that wasn't fun to hear really loud in our apartment building. But
yeah, I guess that word isn't that great.
Yeah, it was funny almost that I was like, that's the N word for women is nagger. I don't even feel comfortable saying that right now.
It's just because
you
the
screamed at me.
R's
You go, "You're a," and I was just like, "Easy, dude. We have neighbors. God Christ."
Don't say neighbor. Neighbor. But before that, there was like a comment about me not charging the battery on my thing. So I think it was like an addition.
We have one of those like hypervolt things I put on my Instagram where it's like and it like a massager thing that like goes and. He had been using it and on his arm and he just left it on like the green light was on. I saw it on the couch and I go, "Hey, and I believe I said it like this. You correct me. I think I just said, "Hey, you should turn this off because the battery runs out." And so I just turned it off and I just go, "Next time, just turn it off." And then I put it down and then that was right before the pizza incident and oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, I just It's
a
combination of things.
It was the biggest fight we've ever had.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a blowout.
It was like Jerry Springer levels of screaming, and
it ended pretty funny. I'm surprised you didn't. We literally go, it's because you yelled, it's because of your mom, and I go, you're your dad.
Yeah, I didn't hear that part until you told me later on. I just was like, I think I yelled, go to
therapy because of what your mom did to you.
This is all about your mom, dude. It's not me. Fucking deal with it. And then I screamed and left, and then laughed on my run, and had a pretty good run, gotta be honest.
I'm sure you probably had your best time ever.
There was a rainbow on my run, and I was like, I was right. No, I don't know. I didn't think that at all. Final thought. There was also a rainbow after our storm, much like, rainbows show up after a lot of storm. I was able to reflect upon it. We didn't talk that night. I went out, and then I got home, and you were already asleep. And I knew you were just like on the phone with Brenna, just texting her about it. Like, I'm sure she was like, you guys were just talking shit, and which is fine. It's like you go off in your corner, and you talk to the people who love you, and you vent, and you get support. So I was just like, oh, I'm sure he's just in there, like, saying how much he hates me, once looking at places to move in with her, and like moving out, stuff like that, all that whole thing.
Am I wired?
I know you so well, dude. I could predict. I bet I could honestly verbatim, like, know exactly what you texted her, everything. Like, I just know. But maybe I'm wrong. But I think that you probably were like, I'm going to fucking move out. And you probably Googled like 2-bedroom apartment, what you could get for that. And
1 bedroom.
Yeah. And then you were like, I could just do the like, I don't even need the podcast. You probably looked at your contract to see if I fired you from this, would you be able to stay on? Like,
I didn't look at that. I mean, that's a little extreme.
Really?
But I guess you had those thoughts. Yeah, that's what I'm
No. I just was thinking like, no, I didn't have those thoughts. Like, I was just like, this, I mean, I go, what are we gonna do tomorrow? Because I don't want to fight on this podcast. And I was like, ugh. I texted Noah being like, we're fighting right now. I don't know if we're gonna make up by tomorrow. What do we do? What's the protocol here? And I was like, I'm not gonna not do the show with him if we're fighting. Like, I'm not gonna be like, Andrew's sick today because I told him to go to therapy and screamed at him about the pizza. And so, yeah. So we had to, but it was the morning, and I had to do the podcast, and so I was like. And I know that, like, for me, I just need to get an apology out without, like, interruptions. And so I just, like, wrote it in a card and was, like, able to write it much easier than
really nice.
Saying it. And so I just put a card in front of your door. Thank God I have so many cards in my room, and I was like, "Oh, this card's perfect for it."
You already had that card?
Yeah, I
thought you drove the Walgreens.
For you. That's insane.
Oh man, that takes away everything.
Really? No, but I mean, like the card. It was the perfect card for you.
I just love someone that like gets on people's nerves, has like a card for each thing they fuck up.
It's a number one best friend, and it was said like, "I'm so grateful for." I forget what the inside said.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah,
sorry.
It said. I was projecting. It's a projector screen. It was like, what do I have in common with this? Well, I did it all over you. I mean, I just like saw what I contributed to it and was realized that I don't need to do that, be that way, and I want to be better. And yeah, it worked out. And then we ran into each other at Starbucks.
Yeah.
And he had already read the card. I was walking the dogs. We ran into each other at Starbucks. I was picking him up breakfast and a coffee to be like, here you go, like, buddy, I'm sorry. We hugged, and it was all good.
Yeah, and I wrote you a pretty long text that I didn't send yet, and then you just read it on my phone.
Yeah, you just handed me your phone.
and then I watched her read it, and I don't know. I think we both had, like, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I feel like we both, like, really want the best for each other. It's just it's our own brains getting in the way sometimes.
Yes, and egos. It's all about... Like when you, like that Jocko Willink thing yesterday that I was sharing, like when you let someone's whatever throw you off and make you explode in a way, it's up to you. Like I know there's no free will, and I'm certain of that, but I do know that there are things in my arsenal of self-care that I can do instead of when I feel provoked and feel like screaming at someone and going for the jugular like I did with you. That there's other options, and that I can turn to those, and that I also know that is if I were centered and like liked myself and felt good about myself and was really tapped into my love for you and like gratitude for you it wouldn't have bubbled up like that. So it's a reminder for me that like I need to do better, and like, and I don't, and you were like, I don't want you to be like tiptoeing around me and feel like you're a bad person. I was like, I don't think I'm a bad person because I yelled all those things at you. I know that I'm just not perfect. But I don't think I was. I'm gonna keep making mistakes. Like I'm going to not pull the rack out when I make pizzas sometimes, and I'm gonna do the opposite thing.
And what I'll do, honestly, is
get a oven mitt.
No, I mean, yeah, I'll get an oven mitt and Bourdain in the booth. Sorry, no. What I'll do, honestly, is like I'm not gonna like if I feel like there's like nagging going on or whatever, like. The first time it happens, I'll just be like, I won't even get angry at the point. Like an hour later, I'll be like, hey, do you mind? Like I could not be so sensitive too, because I do.
No, but you are going to be what you are. I think if I were in your shoes or in times where I've felt like triggered by things that build up like that, you can't say to yourself, oh, next time I'm just going to get it as soon as it comes up. You just need to do the things in the past that have helped you conquer other things that you've been able to get over. And like I said, I have an arsenal of things that have helped me conquer an eating disorder, alcoholism, smoking pot, saying hateful things to my mom, being jealous of other people. I know all the things to do because I've done all those things. I can apply those to this as well.
Yeah.
So I think, that's what I learned. I don't know, but we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. I mean,
you're at least on the show till tomorrow.
I have the Zillow search going,
even though it's Tuesday in your head.
Hey, it's Tuesday somewhere.
You still have the Zillow search. Hilarious. Yeah, keep it up. Put out some offers. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. We'll be here tomorrow on the podcast. Thank you, besties. Follow us on Nikki Glaser Pod. Leave us voice memos. We'll get to the Fanthrax tomorrow. Fanthrax. Don't be out there. And oh my God, Luigi is perking up because he knows this is the tone I have when he gets to go for a walk.